Hello, y'all. Course, I'll be 8 months sober on March the 20th, but wanted to make this video for two reasons. Number one, whenever I was in rehab, the common question that was asked among the patients was, when was your first drink? Everybody will head on to write on the paperwork when their first drink was. And for me, at the time, I didn't really know. I just told people maybe early to mid-20s. I didn't quite remember. I was guessing early to mid-20s. I know, of course, whenever I was a little kid, I never really had a full serving of alcohol. But whenever my papa drank a beer in front of me, or my mom drank wine, they would let me, have a sip. But, yeah, but and other than that, I didn't, that wasn't really a full, just a sip of alcohol. But I couldn't quite remember when my first full helping of alcohol was. Whenever I was asked in rehab, when my first drink was, I just told them, I guess, early to mid-20s, but, I remember whenever I was in my 20s and I still lived with my mom. Of course, Mom would, enjoy her a glass or two of wine a night, and I would, have just maybe a small glass with her, and then, my drinking, pretty much, increased from maybe a small glass to, bigger helpings, and, until in my late life when it just got out of control. So anyway, I didn't remember exactly when my first drink was until something in my memory popped up the other day. And, that may very well be the story of my first drink. The story I'm going to tell you, a true story. Back in 1995, when I had just graduated high school, me and my family took a trip to Panama City, Florida. And at the time, my sister Jenica was, regularly seeing a guy named Brandon. Of course, to make a long story short, Jenica and Brandon got married, and of course Brandon was an asshole, and the marriage didn't last but a few years. Of course, Brandon, died several years ago of frontal lobe dementia, from what I hear. But, Jenica's boyfriend, Brandon, rode with us to Panama City. And, of course, we were there in a condo. We would, just spend a lot of time on the beach and, chill in the condo. Eat out a lot and, just take, have lots of adventures. But, I remember Brandon, had, some friends riding through Panama City, and Brandon's friends came to join us one night. And there's this one guy in particular that I remember. his name is Danny. And me and Danny, of course, kind of hit it off. I mean, I thought Danny was, you know, a nice guy, even though he was on the crazy side. But, you know, I just guess Danny was my, you know, favorite, one of Brandon's friends. But, you know, I also remember, what I remember most about Brandon's friends is we all went riding in town one night. I mean, I think it may have been a minivan if I can remember right. You know, I know it was mainly me and Brandon's friends. I cannot remember if Jenica and Brandon were in the van with us or not, but you know, I definitely remember me and Brandon's friends cruising around town in that minivan. And Danny, of course, was in the back seat with me, I think sitting in front of me. And as we were cruising, he left the side door of the van open. And Danny was just sitting there, you know, chugging away at the beers. Danny was like literally drinking one beer after another. And after Danny finished each can of beer, he would throw the empty can out the door. He would just drink one right after another, and each time he would throw it out the door. And Danny, like, you know, offered me a beer. And I said, and I was like, sure, yeah. So, you know, Danny gave me a can of beer. I drank the whole can, but, you know, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 cans of beer, but, you know, I just remember, you know, I definitely had a full helping of beer. And whenever I got done with the, you know, can of beer, of course, you know, I handed the can to Danny, and I said, hey, Danny, I mean, is there a trash bag for this empty can in the van anywhere? Could you, like, throw this away for me? And Danny took the can right out of my hand and threw it out the side door like he did with all of his other beers. And, Danny was just, pretty much toxic. I mean, it's, and that, while we were cruising, at, you know, one point whenever we were slowed down in traffic, there was like a group of these pretty girls walking along the street, and Danny hollered out to them girls, hey, beautiful ladies, we have a rolling whorehouse here. Want to jump in the van with us? You know, and then when we got a little further down the street, I think, I don't remember where we were going, but there was this another pretty blonde-headed girl standing along the street, and Danny hollered out to that girl, hey, how are you doing? You're so pretty. Come jump in the van with us and have a good time with us. And that blonde girl turned him down and kept on saying no, but Danny kept on begging that girl to come in the van and join us. But even though she kept refusing, she never did, but Danny did try and beg that, you know, beautiful, pretty girl to come join us, but, you know, it's, but, you know, of course, I remember that cruise and everything. I don't remember everything about that cruise in the minivan in Panama City, but, you know, I do remember a little bit of detail and all that, and you know, I mean, and as this popped up in my memory, I'm now thinking, maybe maybe my first drink was actually when we were cruising in Panama City that night, whenever Brandon's friend Danny offered me a beer. I mean, it's funny, I mean, I forgot about that, then I all of a sudden remembered, and the thing about me is, I remember lots of things that other people don't. I mean, of course, and my other family has completely forgotten about Brandon's friends and, you know, all the congregating we did and all that, but, you know, but I remember Brandon's friends, and I especially remember Danny, and, you know, think I may have got my first drink from Danny. I mean, I may have had, like, you know, maybe a beer, like, maybe a little bit earlier on in life, but I cannot remember for sure, but I do remember for sure I definitely had you know, a beer whenever Danny gave it to me on that cruise in Panama City that night. But anyway, I just thought I would share an interesting story, show you how my memory works, and, you know, just, I mean, good video is a good way to let off some stress, I tell you what. So I mean, YouTube has become a kind of a hobby for me lately. So anyway, I mean, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for the next one.